I've got all these things growing in my garden, but none of it's ready to eat yet. That's not true. There's always edible flowers. In theory. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 types of edible flowers that I'm growing in my garden, plus 1 bonus flower. I'll explain a bit about each of them, why I'm growing them, and then do a taste test because I haven't actually tried all of them yet. Let's go. First up on my list is Comfrey. Now, I could do a whole video on Comfrey. Gardeners either love it or hate it, basically. The leaves themselves are a complete fertilizer. You can make liquid fertilizer, put them in compost, just chop and drop it where it is to make mulch. It also works really well as a barrier to keep grass out of your garden, as it is doing here. We've got it along this edge. We've got kikuyu on the other side, which is a very rampant grass, and this Comfrey line here is just stopping it from encroaching into the garden space. So many uses. Also, the flowers are edible. So these ones are very sweet and purple and cute. I love the look of them. You just pull them off like this and give a little nibble. I really like these flowers. They taste very sweet and subtle. They're a great thing to put in salads all summer long, and they flower prolifically, so the bees love them. Point to note is they do actually spread. This variety in particular, there's a couple varieties of Comfrey. This variety does spread by seed, which means I need to eat all of these flowers if I don't want them to spread. So I've got to get going. We'll just come back to the next one. And you don't need to watch me eat all of these. It's fine. They're so good though. They don't have a very strong flavour, which is why I like them. Just a nice thing to eat and very aesthetically pleasing on a salad. Chickens also eat it. It's good chicken food. Great for planting in your chicken run. Good for chickens, gives them lots of nutrients. That's the other thing. Sat down in the garden for 2 seconds and there's leeches all over me. Rainforest life. Number 2 is this prolific flower here, Borage, or bee balm as it's also known, because yes, you guessed it, the bees love it. So all of these little things here are flowers that have either flowered or are about to flower. So it goes nuts on the flowers, and why I love this particularly is because it's one of the first things to flower in spring. It pops, it self-seeds everywhere, it comes up really early, so the bees have got something to munch on when the first bit of spring is starting, which is excellent. The flowers are also really wacky looking and cool. I love the shape of them just aesthetically. I do like a wacky flower. As you can see, it gets massive. This is actually several plants, but even one plant does get pretty big. But this has been growing since like mid-August, so it's been a couple months. It is an annual, but it does self-seed, so you don't really have to plant it again. It just comes up again by itself. You can see how many flowers and seeds it's producing, so it's just fine to do it again. I also really like the flavour of this one because it tastes like sweet cucumber. The only problem is it is a little bit spiky, so the petals aren't, but then the bit around the base is also a little spiky. So again, it's a good garnish for salads and very pretty. People often use them in desserts. You can do all kinds of things with them. Very versatile. People say you can also eat the small leaves, like the young leaves, and they taste a bit like cucumber as well. I have tried it, but again, the spiky texture kind of throws me off a little bit, so I usually just stick to eating the flowers. Yay, borage! I hate myself. I just shot the entirety of the Nasturtium section in slow motion without realizing it. So I can't use it, and now I have to do it again, and I have to eat another Nasturtium. Number 3, Nasturtium. As you can see, this guy grows big and bushy. It's a great living mulch, also a chop and drop mulch, just generally gorgeous. Bees love it, obviously, lots of flowers. It's also a really good trap crop. So all those nasty insects like hornworms and aphids and whatever else is annoying your vegetable plants usually find this more appealing and tastier than the vegetables you're trying to protect. So it's a good thing to have around. It also self-seeds prolifically. It is an annual technically, but the seeds are pretty big, so they hang around and reseed next year pretty easily. So you don't have to do anything with them. Low effort, I love it. You can also use the leaves to make a pesto out of, apparently. I haven't tried it myself, as I assume they taste similar to the flowers, and I'm not the biggest fan of the flowers. But anyway, without further ado, I shall taste test a flower for you all. I'm gonna look for one that's not too old looking, and given that it is attracting bugs, we're gonna try and make sure that there aren't any bugs on it. There's my flower. It's very pretty. I love them. They're beautiful. Okay, I can't put this off any longer. Oh. It's quite sweet actually to start with. I don't remember it being that. Oh no. Oh, spicy. Spicy, spicy, spicy. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Ah. That was a journey. Wow, it starts quite sweet and you're like, oh, this is lovely. And then suddenly, boom, you're smacked in the face with like pepper and spice. Ah, it's all over my mouth. And then it kind of like trails off again, but I've still got like the lingering pepper flavor. Wow, that's interesting. Definitely not my favorite. Some people's cup of tea. I can see why some people like it. Don't get me wrong, I like spicy food. I'm just not sure I like that. I don't know, maybe I'll try it in a salad again sometime. Not my favorite. Moving on. Chamomile.
Do 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 do.
Chamomile.
Do 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 do.
Chamomile.
Do 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 do.
Anyway, I do of course mean chamomile. It smells amazing. This is my first time growing it. I'm growing a perennial variety. It's called lawn chamomile. I don't know the Latin name. It's doing beautifully. It's a wonderful little ground cover and it smells divine. So I'm actually quite excited to try eating this one. It, again, attracts beneficial insects, attracts pollinators, all those good things, and it looks and smells delicious. A popular thing everyone does with it is make tea. So I'm very excited to try that. I've also discovered you can use it in cooking and sweets and baking and all kinds of different things. And you can also apparently eat it raw. So that's what we're gonna try now. I don't know if I'm supposed to eat just the petals or like the whole middle bit as well. The weirdest way to possibly eat something like that. Okay, I'll try a bit of the middle bit. Oh wow, that's quite strong. Nah. I think you're supposed to just eat the petals. Oh my God. Oh, it's still going. Oh, it needs some water, hang on. I don't recommend eating the middle bit. That's got some aftertaste to it. And before taste, just bad taste. I think I'll stick to making this tea. The flowers didn't taste too bad. Yeah, the flowers are okay. It's quite strong still though. I'll stick to making tea with this one, I think. You smell so good, how do you taste so bad? But definitely tastes worse than nasturtium. That's wild, I was not expecting that. I'm so sorry. That was gross. Anyway, moving on. Number 5 on the list is this beauty here, Calendula, that I haven't actually ever tried before. Similar to nasturtium, it is a trap crop, so it does the job of attracting all those pests to it instead of to my plants. And I can actually see right here, I've got a little caterpillar guy who he likes to eat tomatoes. So I'm very glad that he's on this calendula and not on the tomato, because it means that he's not eating my tomatoes. So I'm just gonna squish this little guy. Oh, squish with my boot. Sorry, that got violent. Anyway, as you can see, the calendula flowers prolifically and attracts pollinators as well. One website described it as a bed and breakfast for insects. So basically it attracts all the beneficials and the non-beneficials. So the beneficials can eat the non-beneficials, which is great. I mean, beneficial insects are usually the ones that eat the other insects, which are the pest insects. So it's really an all-in-one. Calendula also apparently has some medicinal uses, though I haven't really looked into those myself. So the flowers are good used as a salad garnish and can be used as a saffron substitute in many dishes. Just trying to get the bugs off it. Okay, well, here goes nothing. I will try eating the calendula flower. Quite a subtle flavor. It's a little bit peppery, but not nearly as spicy as a nasturtium flower. This would be my choice as a salad garnish to add some pepper over a nasturtium. Although it's got a bit of a bitter aftertaste as well, so it's like, yes, edible, not my favorite. Yeah, the more I eat of it, the less I like it actually. Maybe it needs to be cooked. Do you eat calendula flowers? How are you supposed to eat them? Like this or in other ways? I did promise you one bonus flower, so here it is. You may recognize this thing from my previous garden tour where all of my coriander had gone to seed and it's flowering everywhere and There's actually a lot of lady beetles on here, so it's attracting lady beetles, which are beneficial insects. I also discovered while doing my research that the flowers of the coriander are edible. Much in the same way that the coriander leaf is edible, you can use them as herbal garnishes. Supposedly they taste just like coriander, but a little milder. Certainly smells that way. I'm not the biggest coriander fan to eat by itself. It's usually a thing I put like garnish on the top of Thai food, or, you know, the seed essentially in spice mixes. But here we go, I'm gonna taste test the coriander. Oh, okay. This is gonna sound silly, but it tastes like coriander, but more floral. I actually don't know how else to describe it. It's like milder than coriander. It's like a lighter flavor, but definitely still got that distinctive coriander flavor. Wow, that's really interesting. It's quite nice. I would put that on my food as a garnish. Yeah, recommend. So there you go. That's 5 types of edible flowers I'm growing in my garden. There's so many flavors in my mouth right now. It's outstanding. How do you eat these flowers? Do you eat them regularly? I honestly only eat the first 2 regularly, and this was clearly my first time trying some of them. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you liked the video, don't forget to like, share, hit that bell, subscribe, all of those things. And I'll see you in a fortnight. Bye. There's a lot of flavors happening. Ha! Subscribe. What are you doing?
Chamomile.